On the islands of Kep, Indonesia, many children are unable to continue their education after primary school. That's because they would have to travel to the mainland for middle school and high school. This is impossible for poor families in the area, who often need their children to help out in the family fishing business. So the floating school came up with a solution: bring classes to the youth of the island by way of a floating boat.
The floating school aims to provide creative workshops for youth in the islands to improve their skills in literacy, media, and technology.
Since February, the floating school has offered 7 different classes to children on the islands: crafting, drawing, music, dancing, computer, writing, and photography.
The classes run every Sundays morning. We are learned for 2 hours, delivered by the local professionals for every classes from Makassar and Pangkep. At the moment, we have 83 youngsters who joins our class for 7 classes.
The founders of the floating school hope that their students will be able to discover their true passions through the classes they offer on the islands. They have already seen an increase in students' confidence since the beginning of classes.
Saya cukup merasa senang dengan adanya floating school ini karena kita bisa belajar menulis dengan apalagi dengan teman-teman. Cukup ada satu pesan, itu terima kasih untuk para kakak-kakak yang mengajar di floating school ini. Berkat bantuan dari kakak-kakak semua, kami bisa dapat membuat suatu karya nantinya pasti sangat berguna di masa depan nanti.
To wrap up this year, the floating school held an exhibition with students from all their classes. The students showed off their new talents and skills from a successful semester at the floating school. The event included dance and vocal performances. In the future, the floating school hopes to expand to more islands in the region to work with even more local children.
I think the ocean is important because everyone depends on the ocean for their livelihood.
I think the ocean is important because ocean is a home for many living creatures that help us human in many ways.
I strongly believe that without the ocean, humans will not be able to even survive on Earth.
Our oceans are one of the most vital shared resources. That's why Borneo Eco Warriors wanted to bring together youth from the Borneo Island, the 3rd largest in the world, to discuss how to protect it. 30 delegates from Brunei, Sarawak, and Sabah were chosen to participate in a 4-day workshop. Participants learned from experts about the best practices in ocean conservation, as well as some of the most pressing challenges.
Some of the biggest problems that are facing our oceans today, obviously climate change, for coral reefs, problems like coral bleaching, ocean acidification, increasing frequency and intensity of storms, and rising sea level.
I learned so many things from this program. For example, there are many issues around the Borneo region that is not being spoken. And there are many issues that is really difficult to tackle because there's lack of support from everyone.
The highlight of the workshop was a beach cleanup. Youth collected over 70 bags of plastic bottles.
From this program, I've learned a lot of things on how to actually spread awareness and education.
Now that the workshop is over, groups of participants are using what they learned to create their own local projects with mentorship from Borneo Eco Warriors.
I believe once I get back to Sarawak, I'll be able to outreach to the communities in the rural areas and actually get the local rural urban communities to actually help me out with it.
What can the youth of today do to be part of the solution? Finding out what the issues are, because if you don't know what they are, you can't do anything about it.
This July, 12 participants from Thailand, Malaysia, and the Philippines came together to tackle another vital world issue: gender inequality. The founders of the XX plus XY project believe that youth leaders of all genders can change the narrative on gender roles. That's why they selected participants aged 17 to 24.
The reason why I start this project because I believe in the power of youth.
By initiating the XXY project, what we hope from it is that it would give birth to other youth advocates and activists and youth leaders out there to further combat gender inequality as well as violence against women.
The 6-day workshop educated participants on gender equality issues through hands-on learning activities. This included evaluating their relationship with gender norms and learning about SOGI, or sexual orientation, gender, and identity.
I understand a lot about SOGI, violence against women, and gender equality issue in Malaysia and Philippines. Also, I realize more about the importance of gender equality.
I believe that how this project has impacted me so far, it has given me that view, that substance, this knowledge and training in order for me to be equipped in trying to get my voice out there for the betterment of my society.
The ultimate goal of the XX+XY project is to train the youth to turn ideas into action and make a positive change in their communities. That's why participants are working follow-up projects.
The project is called Girl Up. So Girl Up is basically a social media advocacy aimed to promote better, balanced, and wholesome understanding towards gender equality. We know that this is not just another empty advocacy, but this is for the greater good of the future of gender equality in Malaysia.
Because participants are already using what they learned at the XX+XY project in their local communities, the founders believe that their project will live beyond the initial workshop.
We definitely believe that youth have this power to start transformative change within the communities that they live in.
It's really, really important for me to do something that I believe in about gender equality or other things about social movement because I want to see a better world.